New information coming to light in the hearings of the case of the Faro. There will not be a hearing today. However, on day 5, we heard audio and other recordings from Captain Michael Davidson for the first time. Davidson was the man commanding the ship when it sank. Investigators say Captain Davidson tried contacting the call center to report what he and his crew were experiencing. Joining me now for perspective is maritime attorney Rod Sullivan. Rod, you and I have been in these hearings all week long, every day, listening to testimony. This latest stuff to come out, the recordings of Captain Davidson, does that change things? Do we stay along the same line with Tote Maritime, trying to really point finger at him as being responsible for the decision to sail around this hurricane? What do you make of it? Well,
clearly Tote is trying to throw Captain Davidson under the bus and say that it's all his fault. But what really is interesting that comes out of these phone conversations are, at 7:15, Captain Davidson didn't think his vessel was sinking. He's listed over 15 degrees to one side, which on a ship, 15-degree list is quite a list. He says he has a hull breach, but he doesn't explain what that is. And the other important thing is the main propulsion doesn't work, but the electricity does work. So that sort of cuts out the boilers as a potential cause, and we're sort of looking now at the main turbines, the main bearings, the main condenser, everything that comes after the boilers are potential causes for the engine failure.
Does any of the stuff we heard from the captain yesterday, does it conflict with anything we heard earlier in the week from those Tote executives, those workers who served on the ship, like one of the mates who had text communication with the captain? Or is it all pretty much the same story we've heard throughout the week?
It's not really the same story. I'm always surprised at these Tote executives coming on the hearings and saying, well, we don't know where the ship was. I had to plot it out on a chart. And the fact is, in today's modern electronics, I can tell you where every Tote ship is, at least the ones that haven't sunk, on a moment's notice, minute to minute. So for these executives to say they don't know where the ship is a little bit, I don't know. I question that testimony. Let's just put it that way.
Well, so we've heard from Tote pretty much the entire week. They're executives, they're workers, but what do we go to moving forward now? We have another week of this. What do you expect? Well,
some of the interesting things that are coming up are the former chief engineer on this ship, who's going to tell us what kind of engine problems they had before the ship went to sea. There was interesting testimony last week that they had a main bearing problem where an unlicensed personnel had shut a yellow valve when he was supposed to shut a green valve and shut off all the lube oil to some of the bearings. Well, after that, they had elevated tin levels in lubricating oil. So that may indicate that that was the problem that caused this to occur, and we want to talk to that engineer to see what happens. The last 3 days are all going to be search and rescue. Did the Coast Guard do the best they could with the information that they had? And one interesting thing about this phone calling, can you imagine you're on a ship where you're afraid, you're in distress, and you call and you get, first of all, an answering machine, then you get to talk to an operator who doesn't even know the name of your ship and says, what's your name? What's your phone number? How do you spell El Faro? Now, I don't fault the phone operator, but imagine how frustrating you are as the captain of a ship that appears to be in distress, having to explain to the answering service who you are and what ship you're on.
Okay, Rod, Friday afternoon, some families met with a high-profile attorney to announce in a news conference outside the hearings. They want to institute what's called a ham alert, named after Frank Ham. He was one of the crew members who went down to the ship. They want more notifications out on the water. They want more accountability so things like these won't happen. They're sending this petition to Senator Nelson as well as Congresswoman Corrine Brown. Do you think this push will make any difference in our maritime law and making stricter regulations to make sure things like this don't happen again?
No, I don't think you can have the government overseeing the arrival and departure of every ship. I really think where you're going to see new regulations here is with regard to life-saving. It was clear that these men and women on this ship had difficulty getting off of this ship. Once they got off the ship, they had no chance of survival. So we're going to have to revise how the survival suits are used, how people escape from ships, and how you survive a tragedy like this.
Well, Rod Sullivan, maritime attorney, I'll be back in those hearings with you tomorrow morning, so I'll see you then, Rod. Thank you so much.
You're a workaholic, Scott. I'm glad to see you this morning.
Thank you.